Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Ganganapate Namaha. Om Shrim Rim Klim Glom Gam Ganapate Varavarada Sarvajanam Me Vashamanaya Svaha. Om Shrim Rim Klim Glom Gam Ganapate Varavarada Sarvajanam Me Vashamanaya Svaha. Om Shrim Rim Klim Glom Gam Ganapate Varavarada Sarvajanam Me Vashamanaya Svaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Radhaye Namaha. Shri Radhaye Namaha. Shri Radhaye Namo Namaha. Om Hrim. Om Divalingaya Namaha. Urdhvalingaya Namaha. Anandalingaya Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Shri Hanumate Namaha. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 31st of August 2025. I want to offer my prostrations to all the great sages and to Bhagavan residing in the heart of every single being. Ishvaraha Sarva Bhutanam. Ruddhe Shrirjunatishthati. With that bhavana, we are continuing our journey day by day, hour by hour, step by step, into that extraordinary state of ananda. This is what everybody wants. Every human being is in search of ananda. So along those lines, we are continuing to examine how to open this doorway by the grace of God. It opens by Krupa into the 10th Bhakti, Prema Bhakti, or as it is written by Shatanand Mahamuni, it is called Prem Lakshana Bhakti in Satsangi Jivan scripture. So this Prema Bhakti is non-directional. It is where our internal Shakti, as we mentioned yesterday, if you remember this point from yesterday, and the diagram, maybe you made the diagram, you know that in the center of the triangle is Shakti. On the 3 points, what do we have? As a reminder, we have Ojas, we have Tejas, and we have Bhakti. So Ojas, Tejas, and the devotional practices. 9 forms of devotion. This is called it's a triangle. It is this, and within that is the Shakti. So that is the doorway into Prem Lakshana Bhakti. That triangle, and with the Shakti inside, that Shakti is Kundalini Shakti. Hamari jo Antarik Shakti hai, that will awaken naturally in the best possible way to do the activity that needs to be done in the external world, and the internal vertical ascent towards Shri Purushottama Bhagavan, Parabrahma. Right? So there's 2 points here about the ascent of Shakti. People talk a lot about Kundalini Shakti, Kundalini awakening, so many things. You don't have to worry about Kundalini Shakti or Kundalini awakening, or there's no need to try to awaken that deliberately. It will awaken automatically once these 3 points are in our life. Ojas, Tejas, and Bhakti. Once we have all 3 of them, automatically the right amount of Shakti will awaken to do the work as a seva in the outside world and as a destination towards the Brahmadham, the higher reality, higher realization, the greater realization from the inside. This is the yogic journey. Both will happen. So you don't have to worry about awakening Kundalini Shakti. Don't try to awaken it through some certain kinds of sadhanas without the proper purification. There are some other paths to that, but that requires a special kind of guru, and even then a lot of people get into trouble with that. So you don't need to do any of that kind of stuff. Let our energies develop naturally. What should be our focus? Our focus should be on developing the highest expression of devotion towards God. Because that will take care of everything. You don't have to worry about anything else if the highest expression of devotion is there, because there is no ahankar in that. And that transcends personal desire. Right? So our internal power is going to be refined, and it will awaken and act in the outside world the way it is supposed to act. In the right amount, in the right time, because that intelligence is given by God. automatically it will come. Right? It's a very beautiful journey. Nothing to worry in that at all. There's no issue with that at all. Right? Okay, very good. Now, couple of points to keep in mind. That when we think about desire, remember from the 5, 6, and 5, thought, emotion, memory, desire, energy. This is from our Angel Wing program, but that's the foundation for for what we're doing here. In the classical texts of Ayurveda, and in the Sanskrit other texts, the subtle substrate of kama, kam means desire. Eros, E-R-O-S, the romantic desires, the sexual desires, all those kinds of things. This is the subtle substrate of kama is Shukra, S-U-K-R-A, which is the subtle energy, the reproductive Shakti inside. So it is not merely material. There's a material aspect, but there is a very subtle aspect of this Shakti. So the Kama Vasana, Kam, Vasana, Krodh, and Lobha, these three, once they have reached a certain point, they will damage the body and the mind. Definitely, they will cause a lot of damage. They damage relationships. They damage all kinds of things. It just goes on. All kinds of problems are there because of these three. Once they start to increase, when they are not checked, because they have to be checked. Checked meaning they have to be kept within a certain range. Even anger has a purpose in life. It's not like it has meaninglessness behind it. It has some purpose. It has a purpose that emotion is for protection. It's for protection of others. It's to take strong action when needed. So there is a purpose behind it. See, Aristotle, the Greek philosopher, he stated anybody can become angry, but to become or to use anger in the right way, at the right time, for the right person, in the right amount, for the right reason, that is difficult. And that is the intelligence that awakens of when that emotion needs to be used. It is not just to be used anytime, anywhere. It doesn't work like that. Right? So that is the thing to understand, that these three, Kam, Krodh, and Lobh, Lobh doesn't really have any benefit anywhere. You want motivation to progress in life. That doesn't have to be Lobh. Lobh is an egotistical process, and that egotistical process is a very, very damaging process. It's a highly damaging process from the inside out. It contracts energy, damages Ojas and Tejas, and it just locks one into the madness of the sansar. Lobh. Lobh is greed. Greedy, the greed feature, to grab, everything grabbing is, and it's not just money. It's people are hoarding useless junk inside their home. It's called hoarding. There's something called hoarding disorder. It's called lobh kehte hain. And lobh is, of course, that is there, and there's lobh of all other kinds also. Some people just like to buy clothes. They don't even wear them sometimes. Just keep buying things, buying. Lobh ka bahut swarup hai. I don't want to go into that right now. But there's so many forms of lobha. It's excess. Yeah, we need what we need in life. But this is internal poverty. Greediness. Greed is a real, it is a real manifestation of internal poverty. Antar se garib ho gaya. Aisa. Nahi, lobh chodo. Lobh is not of any use. What good will that bring? It is ek ahankar ka ek swarup hai. All three of these come from ahankar. And that ahankar, once it is given over to Bhagavan in love, that is prema. So, Kam, Krodh, Lobha. Kama meaning, I'm going to explain this in a minute here, but the uncontrolled, out of control Kama Vasana of all kinds. The sex piece is one piece of it, but that's not the only thing. There are so many desires, endless number of desires, right? If they're just running unchecked, out of control, life becomes chaos. It becomes a disaster. It becomes a mess, actually. And particularly these addictions. Addictions are the most serious problem. The drug addiction, alcohol addiction, 11 classes of substances, benzodiazepines, and all those things, the cocaine and heroin and cigarettes and gutka and all those things that people are eating. Gambling is another big one. Sex addiction is another one. Food addiction is there. ये सब क्या है? ये सब काम वासना का ही स्वरूप है. काम का स्वरूप है. Taken to higher levels, all of that. The 11 classes of drugs, and then a pathological or problem gambling is there, and then also you have sex addiction, food addiction, shopping addiction, internet addiction, all kinds. Chalta hai ye, and is getting damaging the mind. This pornography that is now available almost by it's on the internet, freely available. It is causing tremendous amount of damage to so many individuals, millions of people. But the research, they're not doing the proper research on that because nobody wants to stop that. That's why. You see, but it's causing a lot of damage, tremendous amount of damage in adolescence and in relationships. And it's a drug. That's all. It's a psychological drug. It's the reward activation system within the brain. It's a very lot of neurological research is there on this point. From what we're talking about, it is damage to the root power itself. The Shakti in the brain spinal cord is getting damaged by all of these kinds of activities, right? So we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful with our families, with our children, whoever is with us. Try to promote these ideas in your own way. Watch, because the damage is so severe. The psychiatric medications are given. Those medications have effects. Then the damage gets even worse. Psychiatric hospitals mein jate. Ye sab, this, we don't want this. See, I mentioned it yesterday. I don't like to use this word I, but for language purposes. We can either go upward or we can go downward. There's no other option. There's absolutely no other option. And ye baat par dhyan rakhna. I'm telling myself this thing first. Is par dhyan rakhna. Is my action that I'm taking next, in the next hour series of action, is it taking my antakarana, my manovritti, my internal power, my internal shakti, is it taking it higher and more refined, or is it taking it down? The vasanas, asad vasana, that is going to pull Shakti downward, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Matsar. And particularly as night time comes, then the mind becomes awakened into Rajas, Rajogun. Kam, Vasana increases, other desires increase. People go to bars at night time, nightclubs and all dancing, and ये सब क्या है? Rajas. इसका भी अनुभव है. We're not denying that. Obviously. That is part of the experiences of Maya. Obviously, it is. We cannot say that there's nothing in the sansar. There is something there. There is a type of experience. Otherwise, why would anybody go for that? All of life is an experience. Even anger is an experience. Greed is an experience. I don't know, whatever. Drinking alcohol will be experience. It is all experience. In the more technical sense, this is called qualia. You've heard me use this word before. Please try to remember this word, Qualia. That is a word that is used in philosophy of mind. It means first person experience. Sab anubhavi hai जीवन का. There's no doubt about that. But going to a mandir is also anubhav. Isn't there a difference? There's a difference in the experience. Let's look at 3 examples. At home, let's say you hold a birthday party, sweet 16 party, or some kind of an anniversary party, some party you invite 50 people. वो एक अनुभव है. Yeah, you have enjoy with friends and you sing songs and put music on and buffets there and all that kind of fun stuff. Maybe some dancing and all that. Compare that, and I'm not criticizing anything. Sachin is not. I just want to point out the differences in anubhav. Compare that. That's scenario 1. Compare that to the same 50 people, going, who are all drinking alcohol at a club somewhere. All same 50 people. It's a totally different environment. Vritti bhi alag hai. Substance is there. The whole state of mind is different. The effect of the alcohol is there. Disinhibition. Whatever happens then next, right? So that is scenario number 2. Scenario number 3, same 50 people go to, a beautiful Mahamandir, right? So some beautiful mandir mein jate hai. And they spend 3-4 hours there doing darshan of the different forms of Bhagavan, listening to some discourses, doing mantra jap, doing prostrations, talking to each other about scriptures, respecting one another, respecting everybody else in that beautiful area in the temple, doing pradikshana of the deities. The same 3 hours, 3 different scenarios. What is the difference? What is the difference? The difference is going to be the way our internal energy evolves. In the very first one, it is a mixture of mostly there's Rajas gun, but there's Sattva gun also. There's good feeling and stuff like that. There's a party going on. There's an anniversary, a lot of love and affection and all that. So there's some Rajas, but there's some Sattva. It's a mix of Sattva and Rajas. It's a mixed experience. Yes, it isn't natural. That's life. Okay, that's that kind of anubhav. Right? But the second one is much more Rajas, maybe even Tamas. Rajogun, passion, just to indulge, hedonistic experience. Hedonistic experience, right? This is scenario number 2. And the third experience, going to the mandir and all that, that is a sattvic experience. That is a sattva gun, isko kehte hai sattva gun pradhan. Now you see the difference. So most of the people in the world are in the second category. That's what they are. 90% of the human population is mostly inside Rajogun, Rajas, passions, more money, more alcohol, more stimulants. How many liquor stores are there? Incredible number. You see? How many cigarette stores are there? Cigarette outlets, tobacco outlets, all these things. Ye sab kya hai? Rajas. And are there that many temples and churches? Even if there are temples and churches, how long anybody goes there? What is the difference? The difference is that when you put a substance in the mouth, it's an immediate experience. People shoot these drugs and all that kind of instantaneously anubhav hota hai. Bhakti mein aisa nahi hai. Bhakti mein kya bhagwan hai? What is this? What is that? People want instantaneous experience. You see, so instantaneous experiences are only within the body-mind level. And if you keep pursuing them, they will damage the body, the mind, the senses, etc. So this is a matter of realization. Those who have set the destination to go outside of Maya, we want to go beyond Maya, then one needs to adopt the third Sangha, that is Satsanga, going to mandirs. Bhagwan ke mandir mein jana as much as possible. And then in a balanced way, because in Grahasthashram you have to keep everything balanced. Balance. Don't disturb Grahasthashram, but at the same time, carefully recognize that many people who, whatever they're doing in their lives, in the householder life, family life, yes, balance it with love and affection. Keep your destination clear. You see, so when one has set the destination, then there's no issue with anybody. There's never an issue. Bhagwan ka mandir mein, going to the temples, doing spiritual sadhana. What does this do for us? It takes us out of the bondages of the Rajas and Tamas, the 3 gunas of Maya. It takes us out of this. This is too small. Isme koi anand nahi hai. It's not ananda. It is in fact going to destroy the energy inside the brain and inside the mind. We don't want to destroy our inner wealth. That Ojas Shakti, Bhagwan's Krishna, as I mentioned, we looked at it yesterday in chapter 15, right? He says, Aham Ojasa. Bhagwan Swayam kehte, Sri Krishna Paramatma. I am that Ojasa. And that Ojasa is the great power running everywhere inside of us. So when we recognize this, we do not allow the Kam, Krodh and Lobha, the uncontrolled sexuality, and all the other desires also, anger and greed. We do not allow them to deplete and damage this ojas. You see, because this is what is needed for prema. Prema is divine love. That is bhakti. That is the highest expression of this great power. It is an all-consuming yet selfless love that transcends personal desires. तो इससे बड़ी क्या बात है? There's nothing better than that in life. When we are flowing with love, प्रेम ही रहता है जीवन में, nothing else. Nothing else remains. How wonderful is this? Of course, no doubt. In relationships, there is a place for sexuality. There's a place for all different kinds of experiences. But within a range. Once it goes outside with a range, it can turn into vasanas of uncontrolled types. And that's where the trouble begins. Right? So to be aware of this point. Now, let's move a little bit further ahead. These are just some of the basics, just to keep these basics in mind. Now, as we continue this journey towards Bhagavan, there is a great deal of radiance. Radiance is this tejas. Radiance, resilience, and vitality. What is this radiance? It's like the luminosity of the sun. That radiance, Bhagavan Krishna says that radiance is mine. So that the life that we have, it becomes extremely radiant. In what sense? There is the full activation of the human brain. Our brain reaches its full capacity because there's a corpus callosum that bridges both hemispheres. And when energy is properly conserved, the intelligence opens. Our buddhi opens. Tejasvi ban jati hai buddhi. Our vritti becomes purified. Our thinking becomes purified. We talked about this a bit yesterday. So the potentiality within us begins to open as we continue our sadhana further. So the different mantras that are chanted, mantra, stotra, shastra, these things that we mentioned it some time back, those three will enhance ojas. भगवान के मंत्र बोलना, शास्त्र का अभ्यास करना, भगवद गीता, भागवतम, etc. Very important. Mantra, shastra, and stotras are there. So many. Lalita Sahasranam is there. Vishnu Sahasranam is there. So many are there. And then of course our bhajans and all that. This is going to help us. And then when the bhakta has set the destination, as free time occurs, seva is done. Seva meaning everything is seva, by the way. People think that this way, मैं मंदिर में जाके I'm going to do seva there. घर भी मंदिर है. But when if you're cooking meal for the family, is that not seva? Why not? Why is that not seva? वो seva ही है. If you're driving your car from point A to point B, is that not seva? It is seva. If you're working for Amazon or some company or something, delivering different products, food products or grocery items or whatever it is, objects, samaj ki seva hai. Just offer the action to Narayana. That's it. Each action physically done can be seva. And when we are in that mode, I'm talking about subtle things like just picking up a cup like this. So I'm picking up a cup and I'm going to drink, the milk in here, let's say. But even that act, Om Brahma Arpanam Brahmavir, Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina, Brahma Karma Samadhina. Each action is Brahman. It is free action. It is pure action. It is non-entangled action. It is filled with the smriti of Paramatma. Is it possible? Think about, try this sometime. Take a cup, literally a cup, fill it with milk and drink the milk. And in that picking up the cup, holding the cup, drinking the milk, swallowing the milk, it is all divine. It is bhakti. And so this is how the karma of the physical body becomes bhakti roop. Karma matra bhakti roop thai jai. This is a Gujarati expression. Fantastic. ऐसा जीवन बन जाए तो क्या बाकी रह गया? Every moment is bhakti. Because each karma is unbound. It is performed in the right amount at the right time. It is performed with the smriti and the ananda of Paramatma. So this is a sadhana and a sthiti. Ye sadhana bhi hai, ye sthiti bhi hai. As a sadhana, we can say, that I'm going for a walk for 10 minutes. Just, you try it today. Very simple sadhana. Go for a walk for 10 minutes in the nature somewhere. Or maybe you're having some event at home or something like that. Whatever is happening today, think of it as a sadhana for Paramatma, to realize God. How? How can that be? How can a walk, a 15-minute walk, a 10-minute walk, a half an hour walk, how can that be seva? How can that be bhakti? Well, if the physical body is moving, it is bhakti as our contemplation is going on, because we're not thinking about other things. Manan chintan. Shravan, Manan, Nididhasa, Sakshatkar. The Mananam is repetition of the spiritual ideas. That is Mananam. Then listening to bhajans and all that, that's part of it. The link, to establish the link. So in the act of establishing the link, the action we're performing becomes Bhakti Roop. This is one way to understand this. The other way to understand it, okay, I'm performing my activity, may not be thinking about God and all that as so much, but before you start the activity, say Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Ganganapate Namaha, and remember Bhagwan Ganesh Ji, Bhagwan Krishna, Radhika Ji, jo ishta hai, unko yaad karna, remember them. Remember Guru Parampara, bow down and say, this walk is being offered to you as a flower, just like how we offer a flower, Pushparpanam. This one walk, this 15-minute walking, all of it is offered to you. So, and then once you start with that, you do the walk. Maybe you're thinking just other things, doing other things, whatever, listening to some song, whatever you're doing. But your intention is that the entire action is offered at the feet of God. So the action will also be a better quality action. And then we will come back. And then once it's done, again, it is offered, remembered, it is offered at the feet of God. This is level 1 bhakti. Level 2 is when you're really more absorbed inside that activity with devotion. That is level 2 bhakti. And level 3 bhakti, that 15-minute walk, you're walking with Atmanishta, Brahma Bhav. That is the highest. That is level 3. Iske bhi levels hai. So if Shankaracharya ji is walking with you, or Ramakrishna Paramans, or Bhagwan Krishna, they're speaking from that highest, they're doing the same walk. Have you ever thought about this? That Shankaracharya ji goes for a walk on the trail. We think of Shankaracharya ji and Bhagwan Krishna and Ramchandra ji in these temples. And get them out of the temples. Bring them with you. Take them for a walk with you. Mandir mein to hai, hamare heart mein bhi, hamare saath mein bhi hai. Just imagine if Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Swami Vivekananda ji, bade sant ho gaye, Sant Tukaram, Sant Gnaneshwar, they're walking with you. They have come in just ordinary pant and clothes, shirt and whatever, and they're walking with you I'm come as a friend. Bhagwan or Bhagwan ke sant ko ek mitra bana dena. Get them out of the temples. This is the number 1 thing to understand. Bhagwan ko jo mandir mein se bahar nikalna wahan. Mandir mein to hai, but don't keep it inside the mandir. Get him out of the temple. Take the God for the walk with you. Make Bhagwan your friend. You see, that is the Arjuna and Krishna ka jo bhav hai, wo sakha bhav hai, friendship bhav. You can do that. You don't have to have all the time you're something great. Yeah, wo to hai. But may say, okay, whoever you are, you come with me. And you see the magic that happens. That if Shankaracharya ji is walking with you for a half an hour, how is he walking? The walking is the same, but it's not the same. वो निर्गुण स्थिति में है, क्रिया चल रही है. The action is going on, but there is no entanglement, and he is in वो ब्रह्म स्थिति में है, ब्रह्म भाव में है. Or how are we walking? Where our mind is spinning inside these 3 gunas of Maya, spinning here, spinning there, jumping here, jumping there, constantly. कितना फर्क है इसमें? It's something worth really, really understanding. So there's 3 levels here, even of karma. 3 level hai isme. The first, start with level 1. That before doing the action, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Radha Krishnaya Namaha, just take the name of God and say, I'm offering it to you. Start with that. That's a big thing. It's not easy. Before you start your computer work or before you start your job somewhere, just take the name of the Lord, that I'm offering it to you. And then at the end of the whole thing, again take the name, the holy name. That's it. How beautiful. This is level 1. Then the higher level. Now, see, the question will become, what if you're doing like a complex job? Let's say you're a medical doctor, for example, and you are with patience all day. How can you be thinking about God? You don't need to think about God at that, doing mantras and all that. That's not the time to do that. You have to do your work, but do it with just with the vision that I'm doing seva to Paramatma. That's all. It's just a vision. You don't have to say any mantras or anything. It's just an internal vision. It's so simple, actually. And the same thing is true at home. Same thing is true with any action. Then do the action, because you cannot be, reciting Bhagavad Gita verses in your mind while doing surgery and all that. That doesn't work like that. Whatever action is being done has to be done thoroughly, properly, and then offer the action to Bhagavan. And if the action is simple, relatively like walking, then our mind can be attached to Manan Chintan. That's beautiful. You're going for a walk, or maybe maybe do this all the time. You're driving or sitting. We can drive pretty much without too much tension. It's fine, and our mind can also be thinking about God. It also can be connected in bhajan, kirtan, manan, chintan. But you cannot be taking these symbols or manjira and all that thing inside the operating room. You said a patient is dying over there. You're saying Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. That's crazy stuff. Yes, that is not how bhakti is to be applied. There was an incident that happened with a 16-year-old kid one time, who was worshipping Bhagwan Ram or Bhagwan Krishna, and when he had the big exam, he wrote Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, and the whole paper, he failed the whole exam. This is not how bhakti is to be applied. Ye murkhta hai. So not to apply bhakti, that is not bhakti. That is escapism and some wrong understanding. When we are doing the action in the material world, it has to be done correctly and properly. It just needs to be offered at the feet of God. That's all. Like right now, Sachin is speaking. Sachin is speaking in terms of these ideas. Right now, I'm not saying mantras in my mind. We already did that. So that part was done already. Now we are doing this part. All of you are listening to this. So you're listening to it. That's fine. So there is the right kind of action at the right time in the relative world, but it is placed in the divine light. Divya Prakash mein kriya ka samarpan hota hai. And when we do this, then each hour flows without any kind of disturbance, entanglement, and the action is performed in the best way without any ahankar, and it is also performed without tension, fear, anger, greed, hatred, negativity. That is all gone. This is called nirbandha kriya in Gujarati. Nirbandha means without bondage, action without binding. Nishkam karma. Karmanne vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbur mate sangnosva akarmani. Bhagwan Krishna is taught this master technology that do not become akarmani. That I'm not going to do anything. I'm just not going to do anything. Life is just meaningless, and then that is interpreted as vairagya. That's not vairagya. Not doing anything is not but perform the action, but in what way? Perform the action for its own beauty, in its own inherent fantastic samarpan bhav, that we're offering it to Paramatma. The entire action is beautiful. And when we perform physical action this way, mental action this way, verbal action, man karma vachan, then all three become bhakti. Then while we are awake, like Sachin here woke up in the morning, let's say at 4:30, 5 o'clock today, since that time, it has gone steadily this way. It is 8:42 right now. Yes, all three, mind, speech, and vritti, they are in the right direction. I know that. But it can go in the wrong direction also. Give 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. At some point, it can go in some other direction. So I have to see which direction is my manovritti going. Is it taking me towards Paramatma, Bhagwan, or is it taking me downward into this mixture of Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Matsar, Irsha, Ahankar, Rag, Dvesh, Aham, Mamatva, Klesh? Which way is it going? And even if I am interacting with the people of the world in other ways and all that, interact without damaging your freedom from inside. That is the art and the science of remaining continuously free. Isko kehte hai jivan mukta ki sthiti. We can reach that. Definitely, we are all on the path. We will definitely reach this. But it's a matter of setting that direction. It doesn't happen right away. It takes its time, but it will evolve. And we want the vertical ascent. We don't want to keep spinning in circles. That's the biggest problem in spiritual path. People are spinning in circles. They make some progress and they drop right back down to zero. It's like climbing a ladder that has 100 rungs. And you can reach the 10th rung, 11th rung, and then drop back down to zero. Then reach a 15th rung. Even if that happens, climb up again. Get up again. Don't get disheartened. So uddareda atmanatmanam. Continue the journey forward without any kind of disheartening. Bhagwan ke jo bade sant hai, all of them, remember them all. Santo ek hi tattva hai. It's not, they manifest in different ways in different times, different cultures, different traditions, different languages. Sadhuta, in Gujarati we say sadhuta or santatva. That is the essential thing. That saintliness, that humility, nirmana moha, jitasanga dosha, fantastic developments, the highest quality of development from within. That is called sadhuta. And that is where our life becomes absolutely fragrant. Sugandhim pushtivardhanam, as the Mahamrityunjay mantra says. Om trambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukam iva bandhanan mrityor mukshya amrutat. Kitna adbhut baat hai. So these are some thoughts for today. Again, I want to offer my respects to all of you who are taking so much of your time and with so much krupa and blessings, that you are there. Because of all of you, Sachin has this opportunity to present these ideas and then to share them. Please share these ideas in the right way, without any kind of, too much overemphasis, with others also. Invite anybody you want to our forum here. And this is a way for us to practice and evolve. Right, so with that, let's do the closing mantra, and then if there's any comments to make, we'll leave some time for that, and then we will then continue again tomorrow. So, Om Dhyanamulam Gurur Murti Mantramulam Gurur Vakyam Pujamulam Gurur Padam Mokshamulam Gurur Krupa Tameva Mata Chapita Tameva Tameva Bandusha Saka Tameva Tameva Vidya Dravinam Tameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundaye Viche Swaha Durge Rakshini Tha Tha Swaha Om Shrim Rim Shrim Kamale Kamalale Prasida Om Shrim Rim Shrim Shri Mahalakshme Namaha Om Shri Radha Krishnaya Namaha Om Shri Narayanaya Namaha Om Rim Swaha.